Good afternoon, everyone. I finally got a chance to sit down and talk. I want to talk about this subject because yesterday I was so angry. I'm still angry about it, and I hope my mind can Rolodex that man's face again. Good afternoon. I hope everyone is doing well. Are you? Because there's a lot going on. There's so much going on. And sometime this week, I'm going to do an update on everything I know that's going on as far as, Trump firing people for information that's correct, trying to get rid of real news, calling it fake news, which means he's trying to interrupt freedom of speech, um, the gerrymandering, especially in Texas, and what's going on there with Hot Wheels. What was it, Governor Hot Wheels? I think it's funny. But anyway, and no, am I being disrespectful? Maybe. But I think he's very disrespectful as well. I saw what he said at the presser when Trump came down after the floods. After the flood, he said some really disrespectful stuff. But I'm not even going to get into that. What I'm going to get into is what that old man said to me at the grocery store twice yesterday. Right now in our country, white men feel privileged. They feel powerful. And those who are patronizing and disrespectful to women as far as they feel that they are above, whatever, they're starting to be emboldened to speak the way they did years ago. When I was in my 20s, men were starting to get put in their lane. Okay? Not allowed to harass women and say sexual things at work. That was a no no. Okay? Um, Never had any problems after my 20s, in my 30s, and in my 40s. I worked alongside men, whatever, in many jobs throughout my lifetime, and I didn't have any issues. In public, I never had any issues. The only issues I had was little young punks um, not being respectful. I mean, that's typical. Until you say, hey, I could have been your mom. And then they're like, wait a minute, she's a mom figure. And then they'll back up and kind of, okay. That was always interesting, especially in our small town. You had these young boys um, that weren't from the farm families. Farm family kids were different, but some of the other kids in the small town weren't like that. But you could say stuff to them, and then they would shape up real quick. Yesterday at the grocery store, doing my thing, trying to get some stuff when I knew I shouldn't even be there to begin with. That was the third time I was at a grocery store last week or whatever. And so I'm trying to get my stuff. I'm forgetting stuff. I'm going back and forth, trying to figure out what I'm needing. And when I stepped, when I had my cart and I pushed it out into a main aisle, not a shelving aisle, but a main aisle, the two older guys were standing there talking. So I said, "Excuse me," and I just kind of went around them. Um, I didn't say it sarcastically. I wasn't being facetious. I wouldn't. I was letting them know I'm coming around you. And that's when he popped off and said, "Well, it's just us two old guys standing here gabbing, honey." And that's when I stopped in my tracks and I turned around and I let him know immediately, I'm not a honey. I figured he would have gotten the gist of things. But these men are feeling so empowered right now by having a president who is a sexual predator and who treats women and wants to take things back like the 1950s. Okay. So when I came back through, he looked at me and he went, "You are a honey." And I didn't say anything to him. I just looked at him directly in his eyes. And I telepathically told him that he was a stupid idiot. And he knew that. He knew it because he had doubled down on patronizing me. And a lot of people say, well, he just called you honey. No, when you're a woman, there are certain ways that when you are addressed, it is patronizing and disrespectful. That was patronizing and disrespectful, and he doubled down on it. My message is to young women and older women alike, do not let these men feel empowered now, because this white bro power stuff, this white bro power movement has allowed younger men to say, your body, my rights, that women should be more responsible when they're around men, which what they're saying is if you wear a mini skirt and a man sexually assaults you, it's your fault. Don't ever let your girls take the fall for these idiots. You know, the Jodie Foster movie, I talked about it. My gosh, that was a long time ago. But it is appropriate because here's what I'm going to tell you. There are pastors in the white Christian nation national movement. Joel Webbin, the guy that looks like he has a vagina on his face, even though he's supposedly masculine. He said that if women were executed for calling rape, then less women would come forward. He said that women are responsible for men's actions when they dress a certain way. Women should not worry about getting an education. Now, this was Charlie Kirk. Women should not worry about getting an education. They need to look for their husband. If you have young women in your life, or if you are a young woman and you're starting out your life, don't ever put yourself in a position of being dependent upon a man for anything at all. Get an education, find a career, find a job that you like, support yourself. Don't ever depend upon a man. This is a white man power trip. And Trump has allowed this to happen because we know that he got away with all of this Epstein stuff already. I mean, he's already gotten away with it, right? He's making deals with someone. He's had all of his name redacted from all the court files and the case files and so on and so forth. He's guilty of this stuff. I can't understand how anyone would see all of the footage of him with Epstein at these parties, knowing that young ladies were taken out of Mar-a-Lago to become prostitutes for this guy. The way he talks about women, and I wish the evidence was allowed to come out. Now his biographer, he's telling it all right now about the photos that Epstein brought out and showed him of Trump with little girls, and some of the things that Epstein said. I honestly believe that Epstein was murdered. Why all of the stuff with the videos? They even said that it wasn't processed correctly. And people say, well, then why didn't Biden do this or that? That happened under Trump's watch. Trump was president. Trump is like a mafia boss, a mob guy. That's how our government is. He doesn't want you to hear anything that he doesn't approve of, whether it's the news or statistics and numbers. He wants to keep you stupid and listening to him. And this is a very dangerous thing in our country because that's not how I'm going to live. I will fight this regime in any way, shape, or form that I have to, can, and will until I'm put in jail. And chances are I will be put in jail because women should not be talking about Trump in this manner, according to him. But I can tell you this: if that man at the store had a caught me on a really bad day, I would have been up in his face. I mean, he was only like maybe 5'7", 5'6", 5'7", short, round, white guy who thinks that they can speak to me in that manner. Twice. Patronizing, disrespectful, and I should have stepped back into his face. And I regret not doing that the second time he spoke to me like that. It's disrespectful, it's patronizing, and you're going to see a lot more of it. You're going to see the younger men emboldened to go after your daughters, your granddaughters, and the young ladies. And then the problem is they'll get away with stuff that men should not be able to get away with. And they're going to start blaming the women. And you're going to see courts, district courts, who are going to side with the guys. Well, she had on a mini skirt. She was drunk. And I couldn't help myself. Young ladies, keep your menstrual cycles to yourself. Get your education. Find a career or a job that you like. Don't ever depend upon a man. Do not let men speak to you like that. Always go back at them. I regret I didn't go back at him the second time. I was furious. But I was in a hurry. Tashier needs to be taken care of. And, you know, I don't have time for stupidness. But don't let men do it to you. Advice of the day: this white man power movement is going to get tricky. And it's getting trickier as more and more of Project 2025 comes in. I think we're at 50% now. Yeah. Your president, our criminal king, keeps saying that prices have gone down. That's a lie. Job market is great. That's a lie. Um, I don't understand how he continues to say these stupid things that are not true. They're lies. People believe his lies over real news. And it's not fake. What he says is fake. It's fake. It's a lie. Inflation is bad. Everything is getting worse. What's getting better? If you're a white Christian man, things might be getting better for you. Ladies, don't let him get away with it because it's already started. Those young influencers like Kirk and I don't know, there's so many of them. Don't let them get by with it. Call them out every chance you get. Because I'm not going to be dominated, especially by some little fat white guy in a grocery store. Oh, I hope I know who he is when it Rolodexes. If I can Rolodex him again. Bye, y'all. Hugs from a distance. Just something to consider. Things are changing. They're going back in time already. Bye, y'all.